And we're live. Welcome back, everybody, to Behind the Tool Belt, episode 219. Today, we have another awesome guest. Stay tuned. We will be back after our short intro from our sponsors.
GC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. GC Backer.
My name is Ty Backer. The name of the podcast is called Behind the Tool Belt. Thank God this isn't live, or is it? You assholes go live. We might be here for a while, so buckle down. I have a sneaky suspicion we are live.
Are we live?
Yep, live and in studio.
I'm very nervous.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Hump day.
Yes, February 28th. Mark it on your calendar. Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like, love, share, comment, YouTube, Google, Apple, Facebook, all that good stuff. Today we have another fantastic guest, one of my best friends, one of my favorite people in the whole world. I was just telling him, Steven Spence, how grateful I am to have him in my life today, along with Vic. I put him in there right up there with Vic, that I know I could rely on either one of those gentlemen at any given time throughout the course of the day, evening, weekend, holidays, that they would be there for me. So Steven Spence, man.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Oh, yeah, even a cheers. Feel like there should have been like a lovey sound.
There should be like little huggy emojis.
I just posted
fluttering.
I just posted here. I just posted a little huggy emoji.
Okay, there you go.
Keith Overmire, what's up, man? He's one of our customers, and you know Keith.
Yep, love him. Great dude.
I love Keith.
Yep,
he just sent. Can I say something? Can I? Yeah, I can say whatever I want. He just sent me a Facebook message like a week ago that basically said, "Hey, man, we just sold a job. Some customer came in pre-appointment, and my wife showed him or her, the customer, the prospect, project map it, and the dude was loving it. And then I went out to the house and did the appointment and sold it just like that. He's like, thanks for a badass program." So I asked Keith if I could post that on my socials. He's like, yeah, hell yeah, of course. So thank you, Keith, for that. And then on top of that, you know how I was just talking to Mike Ippoliti, maybe Victor, I don't know, but I was talking to some people in the office here. There's these Facebook posts that keep popping up that says, you're infringing on copyright, blah, blah, blah. That was you, Vic, too, right? And somebody commented in Keith. So Keith, somebody commented that I was infringing the copyright, whatever, and I needed to take it down. So for whatever reason, I took Keith's picture of his Facebook message down to me from my Facebook page. And then immediately when I took it down, I'm like, God damn it. That's a total spam comment. Why did I just do that? So it's on my other socials, Keith.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Keith is a good dude. He's
great dude.
I met him at a Revolt retreat.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Austin, Texas, over the winter or summer months. I believe that was a great big shout out to Revolt and Hunter Blue and Diego Dante and the rest of the team over there. But met him. He was actually my roommate. Got to know him well. Ate lunch, breakfast, dinner with him. Gory stories, good stuff, laughs, cries, all that good stuff together at that because they're not what everyone I think thinks they are when we go to these retreats. It's pretty hardcore. Like I know to work out like significantly before we go, just to kind of stay in shape to keep up with everybody.
The youngsters.
Yeah, the youngsters. Like I didn't want to say that because I'll beat every single one of their asses. But
well, if I was there, you wouldn't beat my ass, just so you know.
You never know.
And I would out push up, run.
I'd kick your ass in a pillow fight though if you're my roommate.
Dude, I am a very good pillow fighter.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm the best.
Well, okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. It's been a while. You probably pillow fight with Rocket or Jan every night just to practice.
Yep, I do. I keep up on that.
Helps
just for the Revolt retreats for my roommate. Yeah.
A week before, you're like, hey guys, family, I got a pillow fight every night for at least an hour to get my stamina up so I can hang with all the young guys at the Revolt retreat.
100%. I have to I got to hone my skills and my crafts, man. Got to keep that up.
What's up, Diego Dante?
Especially in a pool. I am the ninja of water splashing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about pillow fighting in a pool. I was wondering where you were going with that. When
I was thinking of pillow fighting, I'm also, I kick Rocket's ass pretty good, and Jana. Jana can't stand it. When I get in a pool, like something happens to me, like the 10-year-old version of Ty comes out, and like I'm splashing, jumping, cannonballing, and all this crazy. Just I love water.
You're like Aquaman in the pool.
Yeah.
And Janet and Rocket do not like that.
No, they don't like it when Aquaman.
Yeah, just calm down.
Yeah, appears. So yeah, no, love it. All good stuff though. Gotta stay agile. Gotta keep moving.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And gotta have fun, right? Like let's have fun. That's one thing that I started to say myself in my prayers in the morning before I come to work is that, you know, let's have fun. Let's make this a fun, good day. And I try to remember that throughout the course of the day. And we talked, I think you and I talked about it. I know Glenn or Vic and Glenn have heard the story why I changed my signature. Yeah, I talked to you about that, about the energy bus. I read that book. I talked to Ken this morning, and Ken just finished the energy bus by John Gordon this morning.
So everybody, Ty forgets everything, and I text him way more than he texts me. You can say this publicly. Yeah, put your head down. It's okay. You know your
camera's not on me, so
you know you're bad at it. But here's the thing. I just finished. I listened to the energy bus on like 2 workouts. It's only like a 2.5 hour read or listen on Audible.
Yeah.
And you're the one that told me about it. So I bought it right away because when Ty speaks, I listen. And I loved that book, man. I really liked that book a lot. In fact, I told Pat, one of our new employees, he's been with us for 3 months now. Great hard worker, super awesome. Shout out to Pat. I said, you got to get the energy bus, man. So I think Pat's going to listen to it. And I'd like to have the rest of my team just listen to it, because as we're growing, which we are right now, we're going to have more employees. And I just want that energy. I want people to ride our bus.
Yeah.
So if anybody hasn't read or listened to the energy bus, it's a super easy, like 6th grade read.
Yeah.
It takes 2.5 hours to listen if you're more of a listener like I am or driving in the car. It is if you're a leader of a team, you know, if you're a part of a team, it's definitely the book you should.
Well, and that's the thing. The biggest thing that I got from it is our job, right, as CEOs, chief energy officers, is to create other CEOs within the organization, other chief energy officers, you know.
Correct.
And that's probably the biggest message I got out of it. And because of it being such a short, easy read, I read it and listened to it between both 4 times. I probably listened to it 3 times and read it like twice, because I was getting more and more out of it.
So I listened to it, and usually I don't like to read. I'm going to be very honest with you, but I like listening and then having the hard copy or paperback so I can take notes in it.
Yes.
Mark it up and stuff like that. And you just reminded me, while I was working out, I took a few notes, but I want to read it again and listen to it again. But one thing I took from it that I really liked was it said, whether you have it or you don't have it, people notice. Whether you have the energy or don't have it, people always notice. People buy and see energy. So you got to have and bring that culture to your company, to your team.
It's big. It
is.
You know, and I think, this is a pretty good topic. I think the challenge that I face today is that, with our footprint, it's becoming more difficult for me I feel that to have that impact of that energy
everywhere.
So I'm trying to become more creative in the ways that I may be able to try to do a better job of that, because I don't ever want to lose that. I don't want to be a corporation where people become numbers and we're a factory where people are backstabbing each other to try to advance through the ranks and stuff like that. Like I never want to lose that, family owned and operated organization. I want to create that culture that people want to be a part of. We want to create that organization that other organizations want to be like.
Yeah.
That's our biggest, that's probably one of our biggest core values. It doesn't really necessarily spell that out, but if you read our core values like that in a nutshell is what all of our core values, our company vision statement is what I just said.
I learn a lot from you. Obviously, I'm going to probably say that 20 more times on this podcast, but I've learned that about you, and I've tried to bring that energy and that positive, that family, even though none of us are related to each other. It doesn't really matter. We're still family, right? Like you're my brother, Vic's my brother. So I've learned a lot about that from you, and I just try really hard to bring that fun into our team. And our team, we do have fun. We meet once a week online, and we always have certain questions that brings out some personal stuff, and it's funny, man. It's good stuff. And you got people Ken and people in Delaware that are bringing that same culture to their teams down
for
there.
For sure. And I'm my own worst critic. Like, I'm not
You
doing
are.
a good enough job to, to spread that energy. I don't have that reach. I got to go down there and I got to travel more. I got to spend a month there.
Yeah.
Like, that's where my head is right now. Like, we're already trying to figure out how can I spend a month down in South Carolina.
Yeah, I told you I might visit you during that month.
Yeah. So, and then how can I spend more time at the beach this summer? God damn it. I'm going to have to spend more time at the beach. But, but yeah, we're trying to figure that out, schedule it. And that's one of the reasons why we did less traveling this year with Behind the Tool Belt is to work and focus on, our vehicle that has taken us all these other places.
Yeah.
Is to be more intentional when I'm home. And I even said this to Lauren and of course my family, but Lauren, because when we were traveling last winter, we would come home for like 2-3 days, sometimes maybe a full 7-day week. I wasn't present, even though I was here, but I wasn't present. Like, I was preparing for the next
travel
event,
the next trip.
What do we want to change on the podcast? What lights, what TVs, what monitors? We want it bigger, better. We want to have an impact on our industry in a quick, short amount of time as possible. When we're at these events for 2, sometimes 3 days, we're trying to bring the heat, right? Like, we want to host a good show. We want good viewership. We want to have an impact. We want what we're saying, and we're thinking, and it's not as easy as what everybody thought it was, because in that madness, we're trying to find rest.
Yeah.
So we can function and participate at the highest level possible. But when you're talking to, I don't know how many interviews we did, and it's kind of unfair to us that we only limited ourselves to 219 episodes, because we all know we never counted any of those episodes that we hosted or posted at any of these events. And I'm not saying that to kind of tug on Vic's ego, or mine, is what I really meant to say. But I'm saying that because of the work.
Did the traveling set you up to be able to kind of focus and stay home and open up some other opportunities for you?
I love that you asked that question, because it really had a lot of the dreams and aspirations that we had to take Behind the Tool Belt on tour took a minute to come to fruition. And what one of those things was obviously personal brand.
Yeah.
Personal, not just professional brand, but a personal brand. Hey, who's Ty Cobb backer, right? TC backer, and get behind the tool belt. So it was a professional Behind the Tool Belt and a personal brand. So now what is happening is the events that we did attend this year were ones that we were asked to come back and speak at this year.
Right.
So that was one reason too, why we didn't go to as many. But if they asked us and said, hey, we want you to participate, whether it's a breakout, whether it's a panel, whatever, we were like, well, we can't say no, because then everything, the sweat, blood, and tears, energy, resources that we did the year previous would go to waste. And we got to hit it when the iron's hot.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So that's why, Erico reached out, asked me to.
I saw that on Facebook.
On March 5th, I get to speak with his team.
The team culture.
Yep. The team culture thing. Diego reached out to me to talk on, the RoofCon tour, that on the road tour that he's got going right now. And that in itself is an honor, a privilege that, my wildest dreams really, honestly, didn't really imagine that what we were doing last year would come and put us in a position that we're in today. I mean, it really didn't. And not just that, but the impact that it's had on the culture. Our team watching us out there grinding, and we've been able to take a couple people from our team. So, and one of the reasons why we did that was to try to get everybody to participate and help those that could come with us, like Glenn, Ippy, John, I think Ken came with us down to RoofCon. We took 26 of us, not even counting myself,
full
down to RoofCon, because the educational part of it, plus the, free labor, to help us set up. And things like that. Plus, then they could see too behind the scenes, because Howie, that works for us. Like, there, when we started doing this, I would get with Howie, and he's our master carpenter here, and he'd be like, well, have fun on your vacation. And man, that would just get under my skin. So
it's not a vacation,
dude,
man.
like,
It's
we're
hard.
not going on vacation. Like, he couldn't fathom what it was we were doing. But I think the impact that it has had on the company, the entire umbrella. We have multiple companies within TC backer, sisters, affiliates, father, brother, sister, aunts, uncle companies that are under this umbrella here, and it has impacted. And especially since we started to go on tour, the sales team's landing jobs because of our YouTube channel. Horizon Lawns, we have a landscaping business as well, is picking up leads from that, because here we are transparent, right? Yep. Like, so we kind of own the authority. Like we're the authority in our space. Like, obviously we know what we're doing. We talk about this stuff every week. Yeah. Here's the owner every week doing this. I mean, and it's so much deeper than that.
Well, I relate to everything that you're saying. I'm definitely, obviously we're on a much smaller scale with my company, Project Map It, but I've been actually traveling a lot this season. Yeah. So I've been speaking and presenting for Certainteed at their events. They're renting out NFL stadiums throughout the US. So, in March, I'm in Denver at Mile High Stadium. Then we go to Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz, and we go to the Indianapolis Colts Stadium. The presentations have been great, and it's been really good for my team. Same thing that you just said. When we go out in Denver, we're bringing our entire team. Our entire team in the States is 4 people, but we're going there, and then we're going to spend an extra day there and do some team building. They have learned a lot just being there, talking to a lot of people. It's opened up a ton of opportunities for Project Map It, with me presenting in front of all the Certainteed people and contracting folks, because a lot of the Certainteed people didn't 100% know who we were. They knew we were partnered with them, but what is Project Map It? And then they see me present, and they're like, oh, dude, like ABC Supply, we're going to be at ABC Supply College of Knowledge in Connecticut. Can you come up and just hang out with us and learn, learn a little bit about what we're doing at these shows? So I went up there and hung out with Certainteed in their booth. It's just been really good. The opportunity's been big. Yeah. I went to IRE just to go. I had my wife, God bless her, planned a trip months ago from a Saturday to Tuesday. And ABC, I got to meet Kathy Hendricks. For anybody that knows Kathy Hendricks, I mean, shout out to her. She's one of the most amazing people I've ever had the pleasure of talking to. I got to talk with her for about an hour and a half when I met her face-to-face at IRE. But she emailed me and said, hey, Steve, I'd like to meet you face-to-face. Are you going to be at IRE? And I was like, no, I'm not going to IRE. I didn't have a booth there. But then I started looking at my calendar, and sure the hell enough, our trip with my wife, my spousal trip, ended on a Tuesday, which is when IRE started. So she left, and I stayed there, and I got to have very meaningful meetings with Certainteed, Hover, Leap, Roofer, Kathy Hendricks, you name it. We had some really good meetings that are going to open up great opportunities. So for me, I'm kind of in that travel phase now, hoping that, my team grows, and next year, maybe I don't have to travel as much, because it weighs on your family. I mean, you guys sit at the table, I mean, I get almost kind of depressed at times when I'm back to back to back, where I'm missing my family.
Yeah, for sure. We felt that fatigue as well. It's and pouring into those people and staying, at the highest level that you can be to perform, because you got to bring that energy every day that you're on the expo floor or whatever it is. But when you were talking, I was jotting down some notes here, and it's like, if you wouldn't have done all of that traveling, you wouldn't have been able to network with all those people and make those relationships, develop those, galvanize some of those relationships, create new relationships, and get yourself out there. So you were putting in the work, and it goes into like one of those things. Like, if you can just no matter what it is you're doing, it could be a diet, it could be working out, it could be work, it could be whatever. Right. If you could just dedicate 6 months, and that's, if you look over my career, and if you've known me long enough, you'll see I push for 6-month increments out of a 12-month calendar to get us,
set yourself up,
to get us. And I'm not saying that I coached for the next 6 months,
but it sets you up.
Because now things start to unfold, and you got to make sure that it stays on the rails, so on and so forth. But if you can dedicate and set goals in a timely manner, and set a date to that goal, like by this time we need to have this up and running and operational, and launch it to the team, or whatever the case might be. I want to be down 20 pounds. I want to be down, but what is that date? I want to have my muscles to be a certain size, or whatever that is.
What do you want your muscles to be sized at?
I don't know. I know they measure it. So I don't know what's like, is it 12 inches is like a goal that I don't know, but whatever that goal is.
My team has, I mean, I love my team, right? Like, again, we like to say we're lean and mean. small and strong. Any software company, you want to stay as lean as you can and grow and scale as big as you can with as few people. And I will say, and we've talked about this on other podcasts, in order for me to lose a person like Ashley, who's my customer success manager, or a Perla, who's my sales manager, I want to pay them well, because if I lose them, it's going to cost me 2 people to replace them. So these trips that, you're talking about, that I'm talking about, has really helped our entire team grow. Pat's a better everything because he's new and learning the whole thing. Perla is continuing to be better. She's already a rock star. I've said that since day one that she started working. Ashley's just killing it now. So we're all kind of raising our game. And I think that's because of these trips. I think people realize, like, damn, Project Map, it's about to blow up in 2024. We need to get our shit together and make sure that we're ready to scale. And we are. And I mean, shout out to my team. Shout out to the TC Backer team for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's all about the team.
It is.
It really is.
It is.
And, that's the one. I heard somebody say something, and this is just kind of how I interpreted it, and I probably won't say it right, but it's like, you can't necessarily buy back time, your time, but what you can do is delegate things to other people to gain more time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
I think the sooner and the quicker that us managers, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, whatever, the sooner we can figure that out, right? And learn how to train correctly up front, or delegate, whatever the case might be, or hire, right, smart people that are good at stuff, even though they may not know exactly what it is that you want them to do. But if you can figure that out right early on in your career, you're going to grow and be more peaceful and feel more fulfilled and happier longer, right, sooner in your career. Because I think a lot of us knuckleheads for many years, and I held on to it for about probably the first 9 years of my career, was like, I need to do everything. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
Get out of the way. And everybody outside that door was waiting for me to tell them what to do. And it wasn't a bad culture. It was what the culture was.
That's what it was.
And they were bought in. They bought in enough to wait outside that door every morning and wait for me to tell them what to do on a daily basis. Right.
But now,
shit, they're telling me what to do.
Correct.
Like literally,
Yeah.
Some days it's like they're coming in here just telling me, what it is. And they also know not to bring just the problems.
Bring a solution.
Bring the solutions as well, or what have you done to correct the situation? And there's going to be mistakes made.
Yeah.
I make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. And they're going to make mistakes, but through that, they gain experience and knowledge through those mistakes.
We are literally going through that right now, because we're hopefully going to be in a position where we're going to have to hire 3 or 4 people in the next 2-3 months, right? Or more. And so Perla, she can do her thing. Ashley, she can do her thing, but she has the toughest job. Ashley being in charge of customer success, because you got to deal with customer success. Salespeople, they just sell and then they pass it on to the customer success person in my world, in the software world. Customer success person, they have to worry about our onboarding specialists. We have a great team in Argentina that helps build maps and stuff like that. She has to communicate with them. She has to communicate to the sales rep. We call them account executives. So like Ashley and Pat would have to talk to me about a customer that I sold. Then they have to talk to the customer. They got like moving parts all over the place. And I'm learning what you're telling me right now. I'm going through that right now. I've not done a great job training like Ashley and Pat. So now that we're realizing that, we have our weekly meetings, smarter people, right? Yeah. Perla at the beginning of 2024, she's like, Steve, we need to have, we had a team meeting. She's like, we need to have a scheduled meeting every Friday or whatever. So our team gets together and we talk about what's going well, what needs to be fixed. We start doing that. Our company's already better, right? We're building out some knowledge bases and some training manuals for future employees that we're going to hire. And our team is the one that's really coming up with everything. It's not me. So I love it. It's allowing me to trust that Ashley and Pat are doing their thing. I don't have to worry about Perla's doing her thing. I can see Perla's doing her thing because sales are like my phone. My phone pops up another sale. I'm like, hell yeah. So I can do things like this. I can travel to Buffalo and meet my friend Mike Stearns to do some video stuff up there, and all that stuff is me working. It looks like, this is fun. Don't get me wrong. I freaking love coming here and seeing my brothers and my family here, but it's also helping grow the company. Of course. And I can do that stuff and my network is my net worth. Yeah. I beat you to it. I didn't let you say it this time. I got it before you. but that's exactly what we're doing. And the company's kind of coming together. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I love it. And
It's cool to see.
I love to watch it. It is cool to see. It's cool to me watching it and vice versa.
Correct.
We had our business meeting every other Tuesday. And man, I barely say anything.
Yeah.
In the meeting, and listening to them, how they figure things out and things that they're building. And that's why we hold it anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of that had to go back to where, when we would come back from traveling last year, it was really just like a meeting to catch me back up on things. You know what I mean? But it goes back way further than that. But that's kind of where I started to use that. And that last year was a perfect example of, that we had built a wonderful team, and the team that is building themselves right now at this point in time was a true testament on, this would go on without me. And it did.
So in this segment that we just had over the last however many minutes, The Energy Bus is a really good book and an easy read to talk about team. And it really covers a lot of the stuff you and I just talked about for 20 minutes. And me going through it right now, if I could give any advice to any new contracting company or general or software company, it's if you're the CEO or you're the guy that's running that company, let your people fail, train them up very well, and keep it fun, right? Like, but you have to train them. Like I remember one time I was a real jerk to Ashley. So public apology to Ashley. I was on the phone. I'm like, why did this happen with this customer or whatever? I don't remember what it was, kind of insignificant, but the significant part was I'm like, frustrated with her or Pat or Perla, whoever, one of my employees, I get frustrated. And then I started thinking like, it's my fault. Like I didn't train them. I'm expecting them to know how to handle a situation that I did not train them on how to handle it. And I think we're all figuring it out. I love it. I love this conversation.
Yeah, no, it's a good one too. And you need to behave poorly or say poor things at times too, because then through that pain is growth, right? You've identified it right away. You publicly, what was apologetic to her, but that's the thing. You better practice patience and tolerance, right? And the worst thing that you can possibly do too, that you can, publicly humiliate somebody or delegate a task to them and take it back because they weren't doing it the way that you thought it should be done. Yeah. Right. Because now you're taking the power away. And the two most powerful words in your company, in your organization that a leader can use. Okay. And this is a game changer. Okay. You ready for this?
I'm going to write it down.
You better write this down. It's two most powerful words.
I'm sorry.
That's going to create,
you suck.
Your actions should speak louder than your words. Is you decide.
Okay.
You decide empowers them to make decisions and gives them ownership in that decision making. Right. And at that point in time, they're like, oh, okay, well, I get to decide. But then don't be an Indian giver. And once they decide, you don't like it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, most of the time, they see around corners because they're on the front line.
Yeah.
Right. That we can't see around.
Great point.
So just because I'm sitting at my desk all day for 12 hours a day, right, and they're on the front lines and I say, you decide, and I go out there like, no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like right now, for the past 2 days, our team's been up in Harrisburg setting up the home show. I haven't gone in there yet. And when I do show up there, it could be tomorrow, it could be Saturday, it could be Sunday. I'm not going to be like, why is this? Why is that?
Yeah.
Why is it? Because I don't know what the circumstances were during setup. I have no idea what the situation was. What I need to go up there is be that CEO.
Yeah.
That chief energy officer. I need to bring the heat. There are times that I need to be 100%. And there's other times that I got to know this about myself, where it's okay for me to be at 70%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I dip below that, I got to make sure that I got to figure out what's going on with me, because whenever there's an issue, when something's wrong, there's something wrong with me. Okay. Not necessarily because they did this wrong or they did that wrong. It's something that I'm insecure about, something that I'm fearful about, something that I didn't do, something that I should have done. It always comes back. And when you were talking earlier, whenever we're pointing a finger, there's 3 pointing back.
Yeah.
Like we're going to coin that phrase because there's not an episode that hasn't happened in about the past 8 weeks that we haven't brought that up, because it's so huge. And that goes for parenting. That goes for a child on the field. Like they need to know that, like if, because their buddy missed the goal, how many goals have you missed, or how many passes did I not make, or whatever the case might be. right? So anytime you're pointing a finger, just know this, that there's 3 pointing back at us, because whether it was
Wrote that down.
poor training,
I like that.
poor casting the vision, poor articulating the message correctly, poor whatever,
Correct.
goes back to us. And this is the deal. When you're in a leadership position, we take the blame for everything and we take credit for nothing. None of this is about us at this point in time. None of it is. And this isn't why we should be getting out of bed. The reason why we should be getting out of bed and when our feet go on the floor is because of the people under this roof.
Yeah.
Not because how am I, me, we, like, it's we. You know, why I'm getting out of bed. Yes, obviously, Jana, Rocket, Jacob, Quinn, Joel, Mackenzie, Rocket, the whole fam family. Yes, that is my why to my core. But outside of that, we're in a position right now where it's like, we're okay. So we're way beyond that selfish,
right?
You know, why we're doing this thing. We're at a different level. And when you can step outside and see further than this thing, great things start to happen.
And all this is why you're speaking at all these events. Like everything you're saying is I hope that people that are listening to what you're saying. Because I know I am. I'm taking some notes right here.
No doubt. And listen, I did not get this overnight.
I know.
I got this by
30
having
years.
people waiting outside the door, waiting for me. And I go out there like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
What, just
you've
do
learned.
something.
You've learned.
Just do something.
Right.
You know, I don't care. You know, figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes I still have to say, figure it out.
Yeah, be a problem solver. I mean, in this world, I mean, people do need to be problem solvers. And sometimes if you're not a problem solver and you're always asking someone for the answers, you got to look at yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Because we're in the business of creating leaders.
Right.
That's our job today.
Correct.
We need always continuously looking for your replacement.
Yep.
Always be looking for your replacement, because right now I guarantee you're wearing 15 hats, right? That are probably 3 to 4 full-time, 40-hour a week jobs. Now, and a lot of times we're like, oh man, I can't afford it. You can't afford not to find somebody to do these mundane data entry.
Dude, I was
responding back to email, whatever crap that we think no one can do an email better than me. Dude, I forgot how to type without spell check.
I mean, 2 mornings ago, I was up at 3:45 and worked pretty much all day. Yesterday I started around 6 and was up till 12:30 last night working on freaking, I wanted to cuss there, spreadsheets. But yeah, man, I mean, you got to work hard. You got to grind hard. I've talked to people sometimes and they're just, you know, their answer is you can tell they just don't want to put the work in.
Yeah. Well, and don't surround yourself around people like that.
The energy bus, man.
Yeah.
They talk about that. All right. So we're going to change segments here. If that's okay. I got something for you here, Ty.
Okay.
So I've been on a bunch. Again, for those that don't know, I'm the sloppy seconds that Ty uses when he doesn't have a person for his podcast.
Horseshit.
It's horseshit. I mean, you actually did ask me to come to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's Ty calling me and saying, hey man, someone canceled. Can you drive up here and hop on this podcast?
I think once or twice I might have said.
But just to change things up a little bit, first of all, I loved that conversation. That might have been one of our better conversations. But I have some rapid fire questions, and we're going to call this segment "Get to Know Ty."
Oh boy!
So I have 3 different themes, and see how Ty's butthole just got real tight because he knows it takes him like more than 5 seconds to process a question and to answer it, which is why this segment's going to be fucking phenomenal. All right. So I have it on 3 themes. One is just fun, rapid fire questions. You'll have about 10 seconds to answer. Okay. A second theme is funny, but more like it is funny, construction fun questions that are stupid questions. Thank you, Chat GPT, by the way. And then the final theme is professional, where you can actually have more than 10 seconds to answer.
Okay.
And you may have already touched some of this stuff. So the first 7, 8, 9, whatever questions it is here, I have them on my phone. You have 10 seconds to answer each one. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go.
Who's counting?
We'll see.
Okay.
Vic's going to count.
Okay.
If you could swap lives with any fictional character for a week, who would it be?
Mickey Mouse.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
The first one, 100 foot tall duck
One,
or whatever.
Yeah, a big ass duck.
Yeah, big ass. Yeah.
What's your comfort food?
My comfort food, I'd say pizza. Yeah.
What kind of pizza?
Had a
Just
slice.
curious.
I like what I call garbage pizza. I like black olives. I like green peppers, onion, sausage, pepperoni, the whole shebang. Second favorite is not Hawaiian necessarily, but I like pineapple, onions, and pepperoni, not ham.
Okay. Just the word olives makes me want to gag.
Love it.
What's your favorite emoji?
Emoji is I wish they had the middle finger one.
They do have.
I mean,
finger.
on regular, but that's probably the middle finger one's probably, or the hustle muscle one.
The hustle muscle.
Yeah.
What's the last thing that made you laugh out loud?
The last thing that made me laugh out loud, man. And I can't remember, but I know it wasn't that long ago. I was just in the office, but I don't remember what set me off. Yeah.
If your life had a soundtrack, what would the theme song be?
Oh man, I can't think of the name of the song.
Sing it.
It's Ted Nugent, Stranglehold.
Okay. I thought about that one. Mine is Till I Collapse, Eminem.
Yeah, I like
because
that,
I just work my ass off. That was always when I used to run a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was always my like last push song, Till I Collapse.
Yep.
All right. So now some rapid fire questions.
Oh, that wasn't rapid fire?
That was all rapid fire. This is a different theme. This theme is just stupid questions in the construction world.
This is too much like work.
No, this is awesome. This is why I like doing it to you.
Okay.
If your favorite movie character needed a new roof, which movie character would it be and why?
Sylvester Stallone, because he's leaving California to move to Florida.
Man, that's a good, quick answer. You're doing much better than I thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
What's one of the funniest things you've witnessed or overheard in this company, TC Backer?
One of the funniest things that I've ever witnessed or saw in this company. One of the funniest things. There was this one time Colin and I think Tate, I think it was Colin. They were dancing on the roof doing a roof repair during COVID. Like I needed that. And then the final photo was like him standing like when nobody else was working.
I like that.
In the state of Pennsylvania, but we were like, I needed it that day.
One of my funny thoughts when it comes to TC Backer is when I came in, there was the sign, the big life size thing of Glenn in his Speedo or whatever it was.
That was kind of a hard question because there's a lot.
Oh, I know. That's why I said one of
grabassery that goes on.
If you want to name another one or two, I'll give you the.
Well, that was definitely the life size thing of Glenn, and then Denny. Okay, so we were doing the podcast. And Denny is Dr. Shingle. We were running this promotion to do a roof checkup. We weren't calling it a tune-up, a checkup. So we created an emoji or whatever, a character called Dr. Shingle. Well, Denny went out and bought all this stuff. And if you know Denny, he's getting ready to retire soon. And he's kind of like that Gen Xer / baby boomer age. Okay. So like it's tough to get a smile out of him. Well, here he come rolling in dressed up like Dr. Shingle during a live video one time. So that was probably
good.
Yeah. One of the best. And then Glenn did show up going back to the Behind the Tool Belt. Glenn did show up in his mankini at Behind the Tool Belt studio one day too. Like walked the whole way across the parking lot from one shop to the other shop in his mankini. So Glenn always has a good, or somebody picking on Glenn is always a good laugh.
Oh, I love Glenn. Yeah. Shout out to Glenn, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You're the man, Glenn. If this is more serious, I mean, it can be funny. If roofs could talk, what do you think they would say about TC Backer?
Damn, you're hot.
I like that. All right. Now for more serious questions.
Making me nervous.
Good.
My palms are sweaty.
I'm trying to let you become comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Okay. I love it.
Paybacks are hell.
It is.
Paybacks are hell.
Thank you.
What is and you've already answered some of this stuff, but you can hit on any of these. It's only 20 questions. No, I'm just kidding. What's the one business decision you made that had the biggest impact on your company's growth? Mm-hmm. That's a tough one.
That is because I would say the time when I let go, I started to let go and delegate and find really smart people.
When I was with Kathy Hendricks at the end of the conversation, and I'm sure maybe Kathy will watch this. Maybe I'll send her a link. But so Kathy Hendricks is one of the founders are her parents, father. So I was sitting at breakfast with her in IRE, and I asked her at the very end, I said, I'm going to put you on the spot. I think she thought based on her look, I think she was thinking I was going to say, so where's this partnership going? Because we don't have a partnership with ABC. We have a relationship with them, and I love everything about ABC, the culture and everything. But I said, if you could give me advice for a company that's starting to grow exponentially, what would it be for the culture and stuff like that? She goes, culture is not, you can't make culture. She answered it totally different than what I thought she was going to. She said, you have to have a bottom line. You have to have a target, key performance indicators. How much money is this company going to make? In my scenario, how many subscriptions are we going to sell in 2024? And that bottom line is what everybody in your company should know. And you should talk about every week, and every week problem solve, ways to meet those marks. And if you're ahead of those marks, how can you even get twice ahead of those marks, 2 times ahead of those marks? And by doing that and making it fun, doing the energy bus, we'll keep coming back to that, bringing in some of those concepts, culture just becomes.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
there's different types and forms of culture too. And if that's her approach, that's good too. But I wouldn't want to make it money focused. Yeah. Or driven. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So I don't necessarily, not sure if it was 100% money driven, but just you need to have a bottom line, whatever that bottom line is.
It is. Well, that's the thing. You never want to take your eye off the ball when it comes to your net profit. I mean, that's definitely something that should be at the forefront of any entrepreneurs or CFO or financial controller, or even the guy that's bidding the jobs. Like that should always be at the forefront of everybody's mind. But and I do like that answer, because we've been around long enough to know. And I think we've been getting our dates wrong of how long we've been in business, because I pulled some records up. I think I'm about a year off. Longer, been doing this longer. So I don't really like to tell people that too much, because I'm still figuring this thing out. Right? On a daily basis. Man, I just totally lost my train of thought. What the hell were we talking about? Where were we going with that?
We were talking about.
So we've gone through the recession, right? And I think early on in my career, it was more about the revenue, the top, the very top, not the gray area, but below the gross. And not to even really talk about this too much, but I think early on I was more concerned about revenue and didn't know a whole lot about net. Yeah. And then recession hit, made it through that 2008 hit. But when I bought my house. When it started to get a little sketchy was 9 and 10, whether people remember that or not. And that's something that I don't ever remember. And luckily being in that position of, startup roofing company, been doing roofing, with another company prior to that. But also in a managerial position, we were more so like focused on, getting customers in, getting clients in, beefing up the revenue so we could pay our bills. But, that was just like a till. It was just, you know what I mean? At that time, I wasn't really looking at like what was sticking, what was staying. I didn't have that, pay yourself first mentality. Okay. And that sounds kind of selfish and greedy, but I've read enough books. I've been around numbers, big numbers, right? Like there should be a certain amount of money each week, because we get deposits each week that go into an account that just stay there right off the top, whether that's $500, whether that's $5,000. Every week that should go in there, because you shouldn't be, a business is like a household, right? Either you're living from paycheck to paycheck or you're not. Yeah. Right. You're trying to throw something back in savings each week off your paycheck. Well, your business should ultimately be operating at the same level as, whether you're reserves. Reserves. You should always have. You should have liquid, right? And if you're that mindset of pay the bills, first mentality, you're never going to have anything left over. So if you don't take it right off the top and put it in there, and again, I know this sounds like a selfish thing. We've never gone without paying anybody, and I can look you straight in the eye. We've always have paid our bills by the grace of God, the skin on my teeth and hair on my nutsack. Somehow we've been able to make sure payroll has always. You don't see, I'm sorry, you can keep going, but do you have hair on your nutsack? You don't manscape? Back in the day. I need to buy you razor or something. Man, you're an old dude. Yeah. Because people usually shave stuff now. Bikini Bear. It's funny you should mention that. I was just talking about having that reserve. Yeah. So we have a really smart partner of ours, Ryan. Shout out to Ryan, my guy.
and I call him the smart guy of the company, but we want to have a reserve. And for me, like I've told this story before, but in 30 seconds or less, for those that don't know, I was a special education teacher for 20 years. And a guy hired me. I was the first hire, project map, and in 30 days, 2 months, whatever it was it was very quick that he was basically like, you're on your own. And I had to learn this construction industry after being a teacher for 20 years. Long story short, I went from like, almost close to 6 figures as a teacher at that part of my career, down to like my first year, I made $37,000. My second year, I made $50,000. So it was interesting. I can honestly look at you and your face right now and say that we actually have a good amount of reserves in the bank, and it's so refreshing. In fact, I just texted all my partners this morning and said, hey, we have X amount of dollars in the bank. We need to get a little more, but it's the first time that I don't have to worry about, like, there were 3 years where I was like, okay, I need to sell like two more subscriptions in order just to pay the bills.
Well, so Kim and Kim's been here 10, probably coming up on 11 years now. What we did early on, because we only grew as fast as the cash would allow us to do. That's a double-edged sword.
That's us right now still.
Yeah. Which is great, especially early on. Only grow as fast as the cash. And this is something else for a startup company. I feel like don't go and get a business plan and go to the bank and, hey, we need $100,000. I don't necessarily believe in that. Okay. I believe work your ass off. And if that's for the first 3, 5, 10 years in my case.
6 for me right now.
Right. Because overnight success doesn't happen until the first decade. I'm just saying. Before. Okay. First 5 years into it, I don't think we saw a profit until then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where we could actually start doing what I'm talking about right now. But what we did is in our prudent reserve, we didn't have lines of credit. So we created kind of our own line of credit. So to elaborate more on what I was saying, like make sure you get paid first. I'm not saying myself.
Yeah.
You make sure the business, should have something put off to the side each week when deposits are coming in. We're a cash flow business. Kim does deposits at least twice a week. And, but anyhow, what we would do, and it was in the same bank account, but in QuickBooks, you can break things out. And we had a cash account in QuickBooks where we would move money over. It was the same bank account. We would move money over. And what it is we didn't run below that. That was our prudent reserve. If it was $5K, we never went below $5K. If we owed 2 people $10,000 each, we would send them, we'd make a phone call. Hey, look, we don't have it. And you got to get callous to this. Sometimes you got to juggle things, right?
Yeah.
But you got to have the communication open.
Yeah.
You have to have that line of communication open to that right person, the person that matters, not your sales rep, not anybody, because you don't even want them to know these kinds of things. You get a hold of their accounting people. Like, look, I know I owe you 10 this week. I can give you 5 this week. By Friday next week, I'll give you another 5. Worked every time. Okay. So we never dipped below that because God forbid you made an error in your checking.
Yeah.
Okay. And something about, so if you don't have that prudent reserve in there, you need that buffer. You can't live paycheck to paycheck. A household can't, and a business definitely cannot live paycheck to paycheck. Now, since then, we've created other bank accounts. We have different business. We have the Rocket Group. We got Horizon. We got TCB Rentals. We got Backer Exteriors. We got TC Backer Construction, and the list goes on probably. So we have all of these. Some of them are just LLCs that we have. Rocket Group bought this building that we're in. So we have that account. So Rocket Group now, TC Backer Construction leases the building from the Rocket Group, and you get more creative on things. So you get good accountant, you get good people surrounding you, smarter people than you that help you create S corps, LLCs, incorporations, shell companies, things for whatever reason. You put shelters in place so it has more layers to get to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And or tax breaks and things like that, like leasing this building from Rocket Group. I mean, why wouldn't we want to do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now Rocket Group makes XYZ lease each month. It's a tax write-off for leasing the building for TC Backer. You know what I mean? So
I don't know what you mean because I'm horrible with finances, but
you're spending the money pre-taxed.
Correct.
I would much rather spend the money pre-taxed. And we can talk about all kinds of stuff, and I can actually give you some good books to read that will really wrap your head around it.
Some of the things you're talking about just remind me of a book I read called Profit First. Have you ever read that book? I can't remember who it was, but Profit First was like, no matter what money you bring in, you need to put some of it for profit.
Maybe
anyway,
several years ago, but anyhow, it's just something you should do, even if it's $5 a week. If it's personal checking, just whatever that is, something should go back each week. I've done it probably. And, and that's where you buy your toys with, you know what I mean? You work hard to put money back. That's how you buy certain things. You know what I mean? You're not, don't use a credit card and finance cameras. Don't use, and believe me, I'm saying this because I've done it and am probably still paying on some credit cards that I've used for whatever. Those assets, right, that you've earned, that's where you should be spending, that in that margin or not margin, but that column is, after time. And if you can't afford it, guess what? You don't get it. You got to figure out how to do a lot with little. And we did that for so long. We people thought we were a lot larger than we were in our local area because of the amount of impressions and the brand awareness and the things that we did. But we only, at the time, it was probably just me and my truck running around all over York County, just running appointments, doing repairs, ordering materials, dropping materials off.
You were doing it all.
I was doing it all. And they thought we were bigger than we were because I was out there. I was out there doing it, making it all happen. I couldn't afford 3 people. At least I thought at that time. You know what I mean? But then it became like every time I put my tool pouch on, a phone ring. I couldn't get anything done. It was like, okay, I need to hire a helper. That way, when I'm walking over here behind the building or underneath the shade tree when it's 100 degrees out with my tool pouch on, sweating my ass off on the cell phone and sweat dripping into the earpiece there, right? At least he's still working on the job, and use that metaphorically. I know you're not banging shingles, but think about that for a second. Like, my time is better spent probably working on other things, finding jobs so that guy can still eat and have a job to go to after we finish this job.
Well, now you bring up a good point where I just had a conversation with one of our employees about putting people in the right positions based on their strengths, right? Like I have strengths. My strengths are I'm a people person.
Good conversation.
I'm good with people. I make connections well. I genuinely care about people. So that helps the business in that respect. And I don't do everything I do is authentic, right? Like the first time I met you two, it was like I fell in love with you guys within the first 5 minutes. I was like, these are my people. These guys are just like me. Pat is finding his way. And I can see this guy right now. I have him as a CS, customer success. He's going to go to sales, but like as we grow, I could see him into a bigger position based on his strengths. Perla, she has found her strength. She kills it in the sales. So yeah, finding people that help offset your weaknesses to run a company, huge.
Yeah, it is. And that was probably one of the most difficult things when I went on a mission. And when we really went on that mission was just over 9 years ago. Now, we had people and people were in place and were doing things. But I think that's when I really started to work on myself and do a lot of self-reflection of like, what do I need to work on personally to make things better externally?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I started to just attract the better quality of people because of my behavior and how I treated them.
So let me ask you this, because I talk to a lot of contractors. So maybe you can give some insight into this. A lot of contractors, when I talk to them, they're like, yeah, I want to grow, but it's just so hard to find good salespeople. It's so hard to find good help. Is it hard to find good help, or are there, whether it's, let's talk sales, because that's what brings in a lot of money, right? Like your salespeople doing a good job with a good high close rate that brings business to TC Backer or whatever company. Are there really that many bad people out there in the contracting space that can't sell, or do people that want to grow but feel like they can't find good work? Is there a certain place to go to find good salespeople? Like for me, I was a teacher. I found myself to be a really good salesperson because as a teacher, you're basically selling curriculum to kids. Like you want kids to buy into what you're teaching them. And I was good at that. So I found myself pretty good at it as a software sales guy. One of the top producing salespeople that I know, shout out, is Stefan Vasquez up at O'Leary Roofing, Northern PA. And he was a manager of a restaurant. Like he worked with people. So what kind of insight can you give? Is it really like that there is a lack of number of people out there that just can't sell? Or is it that owners that are saying that they just need to go into certain places and look at these places, and then maybe they have to do a better job training them?
That's a good question. There's many different, not answers necessarily, but there's
levels.
So I think especially early on for us contractors trying to find salespeople, right? So you got to find a blend. right? You got to have experienced people, but there's a downfall to that too. There's pitfall down to that. And you got to have like this blend of experience and not so experienced. But what you need is a training put in place. Okay. Chances are with those that are experienced, they're not going to follow the process. They're going to probably be your biggest problem, at least from my experience. Not all the time.
Makes sense.
Not all the time. If they've come from a different company and they've been doing it for several years, it's really hard to break those bad habits and comply to the SOP that we have in place here.
Right.
But if you have a super duper training platform, and believe me, this is a living organism. You'll never get it right. What worked 6 days ago will not work today. So it's continuously evolving. So don't think it once you get to a certain spot that it won't need to pivot or deviate or change or whatever. But I can tell you this, without having it in place, you can't figure out the only two problems that there is: people or process issue. Is it a person problem? Going back into training? Are they neglecting things? Are they procrastinating? Are they just incompetent? Right? Or is it a process issue? Do we need to tweak this again? Do we need to add up, one more follow-up call? We need to set up an automation that gives them a reminder to follow up, whatever the case might be. And the bigger you get, the harder this gets. But that's why I say you need a blend, because you do need some experienced people out there knocking doors, closing deals, right? But meanwhile, over here in the incubator, you're cooking up some killers. Yeah. Preferably not from the industry, but from the hospitality industry.
There you go.
Those that did bartending, those that did paper routes, those that did, they can be in door-to-door sales, but not necessarily come from the roofing. They can be a waiter or waitress or bartender. Those people that are just people and are willing to learn and find their pathway to six-figure success those are the ones that you're looking for to join your team. Yeah. Right. And the way that we don't really care what what industry you've come from. It's about the individual that we want to come into our organization.
People are buying the person, not necessarily the company.
Yeah.
Or the product.
We don't care if you have, if you're familiar with a CRM. We don't care if you know what Drip Edge is. We're going to show you all these things. We're going to teach you product knowledge. We're going to teach you how to overcome objections. We're going to teach you how to hand out flyers. We're going to teach you all of these things as long as you're willing to learn. Yeah. And you're going to know in the first 30 days, hire slow, fire quick. And that's the thing. Just pass them on. Give them a 2-week notice. You don't have to be a dick. Like, yep, day 31, you're out. No, here's 2-week notice, right? Some circumstances, you might have to just cut all ties for whatever the circumstance is. But if they're just not picking it up, but then I think it all goes back to your training. And this is the thing, people don't have the time. They think they don't have the time. So they're trying to find that ace in the hole guy that's $1 million closer. Good luck with that. If they don't already have a job, right? That where someplace their pay structure is different, or they've been able to manipulate the owner of that company a lot longer. And it's like, whatever the case or circumstances might be, you got to find that even flow. But I think you really got to have a process put in place. And especially when it comes to training, to do it the TC Backer way, to do the project map it.
That's what we're trying to build out right now.
And it's so difficult. It's grinding. It's grueling, not grinding.
It is.
But it's a grueling process. It's such a heavy lift. And what sucks, when you think you're finished, you're just starting all over again.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
We've evolved our strategy sessions and everything like 15 times over the last 3 months. I mean, it's getting better and better, like you said. So I agree with everything you said. Stefan, straight up, I asked him, I said, why are you so good at what you do? He's like, Steve, I don't really even know the product. They install GF. I don't even know the product very well. Mm-hmm. I'm just really good around people and they like me.
Yeah.
So I know enough about GF roofing to know what I can tell them, but they just love me.
Right. And if you got a killer company supporting them, yes, they are buying from them. But if you've only been in business for 6 months, or they have no idea who you are, and this goes into another topic, like why branding and brand awareness is so important, much more important than marketing. You can market the shit out of you, but if they don't know who you are because you didn't brand, and you haven't set up that presentation, like it's an impression, like the home shows. Home shows are huge for us.
So when you're talking about branding, what are, like, if I'm a new company 6 months in, what branding should they be looking at doing before they start dumping a ton of money into like Google ads and stuff? What are the top branding things that you should be doing?
Truck wrap, yard signs, home shows, things that get you out there. Instead of waiting for the phone to ring, you go out there and whatever that requires. and encompasses direct mail. Direct mail won't work by itself. You need to be canvassing those neighborhoods.
Right.
Right. That's the new SEO today is canvassing.
Canvassing.
Hands down. Get the thumb out of the butt and get out of your truck, get out of your office and print out flyers. Go to frickin' Staples and create a flyer and get out there and put at least 3 strategic yard signs out there. And it's called success by proximity. If you're not out there, nothing's going to happen. But if you're out there, you're going to run into one person. And then the statistic is per 100 flyer equals 1 phone call. So if you have a team of individuals that are out there handing 100 flyers out a day, which isn't hard to do to go to Target parking lot and put 100 flyers under windshield wipers. That's quick, fast,
You're
and
getting
hurry.
at least a call.
Yep. And if you got 5 people doing that, that's 500 a day. You do it 5 days a week. That's 2,500 flyers. That's a touch point. That's branding. That's brand awareness. Even though it might fly off the thing and they crumble it up and throw it away, you just made an impression. The name of the game is he who gets the most touch points first wins. Do not even give them the opportunity to search roofer near me. You want them searching TC Backer Construction. That's how you get 10,000 views to or people to click on your website a day. That's how you do it, not because of roofer near me.
Get out of your truck. I have a shirt that says that.
Get out of your
Do you
truck.
know a company that does canvassing?
We do. We do. Lead Scout, one of our proud sponsors. Live, eat, and breathe by Lead Scout here.
I just had a conversation with Chris yesterday.
Yeah.
He called me. It was awesome. He called me and I'm like, dude, what's up, man? I haven't talked to him in a while. So we had a really good conversation for about a half hour. I love that guy.
Yeah. And it works.
It does.
Right now. So now we don't have to talk about it, but it works.
It does work.
It totally works.
You're right that the new SEO, especially now, is
it's the new SEO. I'm not saying Google isn't powerful. It is. Okay. But you have to have the directory. Presence. It's the directory. Right. Okay. For them to search Google or roofer near me.
Yep.
Or for your name.
Correct.
You want them searching your name. Don't give anyone else the opportunity.
Right.
You need to get out there and give those 7 to 11 touch points. And you can easily do that in a neighborhood within 3 days.
Yep.
Within 3 days of 1 day of canvassing a neighborhood, park the truck, 3 yard signs and flyers, go back another day, do it again, door hangers, whatever.
Yep.
Set up a drip campaign, 3 postcards, 1 handwritten note. So that's 3. Door hangers 4, the 3 yard signs is 3 more. That's 7 right there. And then next thing you know, they saw a yard sign a street over. That's 8. They saw a billboard. That's 9. Next thing you know, you got 11 because they saw the truck at the gas station the next morning. And next thing you know, your Facebook ads are showing up. You know how that shit works.
I do.
It just
all the person has to say is get the flyer off their car and be like, "Oh, TC Backer," and the phone hears, and next thing you know,
this is where IT comes into play too. Geo target Facebook ads in those same neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't even have to spend the money on Google to do that. You can do it for $1 a day.
Yeah.
$1 a day, $10 a week, $7 a week, whatever.
You should be getting paid for this podcast. People should be sending you checks for all the knowledge you're dropping.
That's how you do it. That's how it's done. You can't sit around and wait for that phone to ring. Why isn't my SEOs working? Dude, that takes 3 years.
Yeah.
We've had the same website for 17 years.
Yeah.
And that's where I come in to say, the overnight success happens in the first decade,
like
bro.
10 years.
Yep. 10 years, 1 day, boom, success, bam, happens. Well, it's because we've had the same website. We've rebranded 3 times since then because I so believe in the brand
awareness.
Yep. Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. That's why it's red, black. That's why everything that we do, whether it's Horizon, whether it's Behind the Tool Belt, whether it's TC Backer, whether it's the Rocket Group, it's all the same color.
Yeah.
And you keep it simple. Don't make it confusing.
Yeah.
Don't have one sign, have this, one truck, have that. Make it clear of what it is that you do. Yep. What do we do? What is it that we do? Who we are, what we do, and a phone number. How do you contact them? That's it. You don't need all this other bullshit. Billboards, we don't even put phone numbers on anymore. We just want them to see it. Boom. That's it.
So they Google it.
They Google it. Google us.
Yep.
Not roofer near me.
Yeah.
That's how powerful brand is. Joe Hughes talks about it. Joe Hughes is the master of the 5 mile famous.
He is.
He really is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. What else? You got anything else? Or are we at our 1 hour?
I mean, I just bought my tablet, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, we're at the hour. And
are we? What time is it?
1:11.
Okay, so we've been on for a good bit. So anyhow, if you haven't already liked, love, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spotify, Google, Apple, please do that and give us a review. Go on to Apple and review our podcast. Let us know how we're doing. If there's any questions, concerns, topics, anything that anyone wants to hear, please put them in the comments. We would love to talk about it. We would love to hear from you guys. Steven?
Can I say something about reviews? Because you just brought it up in my presentation.
Yes.
So if you're a contracting company and you're asking for reviews, just ask. I always ask this, and people usually know the answer. The best time to get a review is as soon as job's done, right? You don't want to go home and then email, request a review, or text 24 hours later. So when you ask for a review, it's kind of illegal to say, "Hey, put my name in it," but you can say something to the homeowner when you're at the house before you leave. Hey, you could leave us a review, that would be awesome. If there are any employees in our company that really stood out to you and you don't mind putting their name in that review, that would really go a long way. Having a person's name in the review actually really helps with SEO because Google looks at it as a very authentic review. We've actually been doing it at our company. When we do a strategy session for new customers, we ask them at the end, do you mind leaving us a review? And then we follow up immediately with a link to it. We're software, so we aren't at the house. But if you look at our reviews now, like all the reviews have people's names in it. So that's just a little sidebar there for reviews.
Now, whose name does it have in it?
Try to have an employee's name.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So the salesperson.
So the salesperson says, hey, can you leave us a review? If you don't mind putting a name, whether it's my name or someone else's name at the office that really stood out to you during this process, this journey with TC Backer, that would go a long way. It actually helps with our SEO, which would be great.
I love that. Way too
little nugget.
Yeah, with a golden goose
egg.
Yeah, man, that was good.
Yeah,
that was good. Well, thank you for coming on.
I love it.
I love it. I love you. I love Vic. I love Beyond the Toolbelt. I love what we're doing here, and thank you for being a huge part of this and a part of our success of doing this and being our number one fan.
I like the journey that we're both on and following each other's journey. It's been pretty fun.
It is. It is good. It's fun to help motivate and level each other up and call each other out too on some shit.
Oh yeah.
At times. So thank you
You're welcome.
For being my biggest fan and supporter and leveler. What do you want to say? Pusher, pushing me to become a better person.
Likewise.
So thank you. And thank everyone for watching. We will see you next week for episode 220. We will have Josie Parks,
nice,
the new founder of Win the Storm. So that should be pretty sick. Looking forward to that. And then the week after that, we'll have Mike Claudio.
Nice.
We will be at Win the Storm when we're there, actually the day before. So we're going to have to set up a makeshift studio. I don't know if he's going to be in Dallas or not, or if we're going to Zoom him in, but either case, man, it's going to be a killer freaking episode. So See you guys. Have a great day and enjoy your lunch.